What's up all of you beautiful subscribers? Welcome back to the Chapple Show. So we're going to cover another billionaire investment strategy. Today, it is George Soros. And no, not that Alex Jones version of George Soros. You know, the guy who's funding the CIA and all those interdimensional travelers that are at Area 51. No, we're not going to be talking about that part of George Soros. We're going to be talking about his actual investment strategy. So some background information. George Soros is a billionaire. He became a billionaire sometime around the early 90s. He's about 85 to 90 years old today, born in Europe. And he has essentially a hedge fund or an investment fund worth tens of billions of dollars, and we're going to talk about his very first investment strategy. So what does he do? Why has he made that? Why has he made billions of dollars? Here's the very first thing. This is something which has made him famous, which is the one-time bets. The one-time bets. So what do I mean by that? George Soros is known for going all in on certain massive trades. He doesn't diversify. He doesn't spread out all of his investments. What he does is that every couple years, every 5 years or so, he goes all in. We're talking billions of dollars into one type of investment, and hopefully he makes a return on it. So that is what he is known for. He's not a spread your money out kind of guy like some other billionaires that we're going to talk about on this list. George Soros goes all in when he can. And so we're going to kind of go along the lines. So this is his basis, the one-time giant bets, which is very, very risky. I don't recommend it for a lot of young people out there. Don't go all in. George Soros, I always talk about, he's kind of like a blown up version or a very wealthy version of a penny stock trader, kind of. So, you guys know how I feel about penny stock traders. So we're going to move on here to something else he does. He leverages his money. So George Soros is a guy where if he's making a $1 billion bet, whether it's to short something or to bet on something, he will put $1 billion in of his own money and then maybe 500 million or $1 billion of a bank's money. He leverages his investments so that he can get a higher return, but it could also mean higher losses into the future. And so this is something, again, George Soros is one of the riskiest investors that I'm going to talk about in this entire video series, but this is what he does and this is how he became successful. I don't recommend it, but it might work for some of you guys here. Just going all in into certain investments, getting a quick return, and then cashing out. This is what George Soros is known for. Actually, we're going to talk about one of the, at the end of this video, or how about halfway through, we're going to talk about what he is known for. He's actually known for crashing the Bank of England, but we're going to get to that here. We're going to move on to number 4, which is number 3 here, which is he bases all of his decisions on macroeconomic, we're going to say econ trends. On macroeconomic trends. And so what do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you an example of a type of bet that George Soros would do. Okay, so let's say interest rates go down and some deregulation happens in the mortgage industry, or in the banking industry, or in the lending industry. So that happens. What happens after that? Well, what usually happens is it's easier for people to borrow money, and so they borrow money and then they are able to buy more homes, so the demand for homes goes way up, which causes all of the house prices to go up. And then the cycle just kind of happens. The more interest rates go down, the more people borrow money, housing prices keep skyrocketing and skyrocketing and skyrocketing, and eventually it's not sustainable. If some, giant macroeconomic trends just have never been sustainable ever. And so what George Soros will do is, kind of near the peak of that, or right when everyone's very confident that these housing prices are going to go way, way, way up into the future, he bets against it. He bets against it. So he will short stocks or bet against stocks like mortgage lenders. He'll bet against, luxury real estate companies or just real estate companies in general, home builders in general. So that's a type of investment that George Soros would make. He goes all in into macroeconomic trends. That's what he does. We're going to give you guys actually a really good example here. So what does he usually do this for? What are his main areas of investment? Well, they're actually, surprisingly, his big bets usually come in either commodities, bonds, or currencies. They do happen with stocks sometimes, but currencies is what he's actually famous for, which we're going to talk about right now. So how did he crash the Bank of England? We're going to talk about currencies. So how did he crash the Bank of England? How did he do that? So here's kind of the summary here. In September of 1992, he borrowed billions of dollars or billions of pounds, I should say. He borrowed billions of pounds, England, because that's their currency, right? Billions of pounds. And so what did he do? He shorted the pound. He spent, honestly, billions of dollars within a span of a few weeks to short the pound. Why did he do this? That's kind of a long story here, but he saw a giant economic trend coming that the pound would go way, way down and that other currencies would stay the same or go up. So he bet against the currency, the pound, essentially the Bank of England. And what happened? Well, within a few weeks, the pound dropped 15%. Actually, in one day. I think it was called Black Wednesday, something along those lines. But the pound dropped 15% against the German mark, I believe it's called, and 25% against the United States dollar. 25%. He bet billions of dollars in that deal. I think he bet almost $10 billion, I believe, including the money that he borrowed, and got a 25% return. This happened in one day. Apparently, after he paid back all of his debt, he netted over $1 billion. That is how he crashed the Bank of England. So actually, after this, he made $1 billion in one day, which is really, really crazy. And so after this happened, other countries actually became scared if George Soros would invest in their country or in their currency or short their currency. Because all of a sudden, everyone from the outside's like, oh wait, George Soros knows everything about currency, so whatever he bets on, I should bet against it too. And so countries, I think Canada, there was obviously the UK again and the United States, Germany, whatever country that George Soros was going to short next time, they got really worried. And so they would have to actually do countermeasures to make sure that investors had confidence in their currency if George Soros were shorting them, which is really funny. So that's the perfect example of George Soros. Going all in, leveraging billions of dollars to try and get a better gain, and betting on a macroeconomic trend like a currency to get a giant gain within a short period of time. That's what George Soros does. That is his main investing strategy. So what do I think of all this? This is an important one because you think about this guy who goes in all in, he does one giant investment at a time, bets on macroeconomic trends, which is okay, I agree with that. Leveraging tons of money, borrowing billions of dollars that he doesn't have. Well, he does have billions, but leveraging billions of dollars, betting on currencies, not even stocks, not even not even like an economy as a whole, essentially just betting on a current. So what do I think of all this? My thoughts are, if you are a beginner investor, this is not your guy. This is not your mentor. Don't use George Soros as your investor or as the mentor for your investing strategy. However, if you want to be a penny stock trader, you're experienced in trading commodities, you want to learn about how to trade currencies and commodities. I mean, one of the reasons why I don't talk about George Soros a lot in any of my investing videos is because, he goes into stuff that isn't stocks. And I have zero interest in investing in things like gold. Well, I have a little bit of interest in gold, but I just choose not to. I have little interest in things like gold and commodities and oil as a whole in terms of actual barrels. You can't actually buy barrels. That's a whole different story. And so he bets on things that most people don't really know too much about. And so if you are an advanced trader or you want to bet on currencies or commodities, this can be your guy. I mean, this guy's the ultimate one-time speculator. That's how we're going to close this out here. That's point number 5 here. I mean, he's all for speculation. This is how he's made his money. He's one of those very few people on the planet that has made billions of dollars just based on macroeconomic guesses. And sure, it's different when you're investing in currencies and stocks and this versus investing like angel investing in a tech company, or giving seed money to a startup company, or giving, like a Shark Tank version. That's different than actually doing what George Soros does. But he's one of the very few people that purely just guesses with speculation based on some information that he has and makes billions of dollars from it. And I would never, ever, 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 ever do something like this. If I had $1 billion like George Soros does, there's no chance in hell I'm going to be putting it all into one bet and pushing in all of the chips into one currency trade or to one stock, unless it was my own stock, or a commodity like oil or silver. So what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of George Soros' strategy? And more importantly, do you think George Soros is an alien? Leave a comment down below. My voice hurts from doing that Alex Jones impression. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of George Soros as an investor as a whole? I mean, he's obviously been super successful. And he's one of those guys where you hear him in interviews, like he's obviously an intelligent, strong kind of guy. And I understand where he's coming from. He likes the risk. And that is something that, I can't say for myself. I don't like that heavy amount of risk. Maybe you do. So what do you guys know? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, make sure to check out my stock market program in the link below if you want to see what I invest in, or the Wealth Accelerator to learn how to start a business. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all this? So thank you very much for watching. You are all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.